y'all, and welcome back to the Winning Wednesday podcast. I am your host, Geneva Brown, and today's episode is called The Turning Point. The phrase turning point refers to a critical moment or event that marks a significant change or shift in a situation, often leading to a new direction, outcome, or development. It can apply to personal lives, to history, to stories, or any involving scenario where a major transformation occurs in your life. Thinking about the definition of a turning point, we can all agree that we have experienced a turning point in our lives. Whether it be a change in your personal life, your relational life, your career, your finances, whatever situation you have found yourself in, each of us has had to face a turning point in our lives. This pivotal change has had a significant impact on what has happened or what will happen next in your life. The effects could be positive or they could be negative. King Solomon knew about this. He had reached a turning point in his life after the death of his father, King David. But before David passed away, he gave Solomon some instructions that is found in the book of First Kings, starting at chapter number 2, verse number 1. And it says, as the time approached for David to die, he ordered his son Solomon, as for me, I'm going the way of all of the earth. Be strong and be a man, and keep your obligation to the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and keep his statutes, commands, ordinances, and decrees. This is written in the law of Moses, so that you will have success in everything you do and wherever you turn, and so that the Lord will fulfill his promise that he made to me. If your sons take care to walk faithfully before me with all their heart and all their soul, you will never fail to have a man on the throne of Israel. You also know what Joab, the son of Zeruiah, did to me, and what he did to the two commanders of Israel's army, Abner, son of Ner, and Amasa, son of Jether. He murdered them in a time of peace to avenge bloodshed in war. He spilled that blood on his own waistband and on his sandals and on his feet. Act accordingly to your wisdom, and do not let his gray hair descend to Sheol in peace. Show kindness to the son of Barzillai, the Gildanite, and let them be among those who eat at your table, because they supported me when I fled from your brother Absalom. Keep an eye on Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Baruma, who is with you. He uttered malicious curses against me the day that I went to Menahem. But he came down to meet me at the Jordan River, and I swore to him by the Lord, I will never kill you with the sword. So don't let him go unpunished, for you are a wise man. You know how to deal with him and bring his gray hair down to Sheol with blood. And so Solomon has now reached this pivotal moment in his life. And basically, David told him to kill Joab and Shimei. And once he completed this task that his father gave him, what would happen next set the tone for his reign. Solomon was approaching his turning point. He has vindicated his father David, which established him as king, and then he commemorated or made sure that his alliance would be sure and that his kingdom would reign forever by making this alliance with and marrying a daughter from Pharaoh in Egypt. And now the Israelites are happy and they are celebrating and they're offering these sacrifices. But something interesting is happening with the people. They are actually sacrificing to pagan gods, but not Solomon. Solomon chose to do something different. He remembered the instructions that his father had gave him. And so now here we see this turning point in First Kings chapter number 3, starting at verse 3. And it says, Solomon loved the Lord by walking in his statutes of his father David, but he also sacrificed and burnt incense on the high places. The king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there because it was the most famous high place. He offered 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream at night. God asked, "What should I give you?" Solomon, he's at his turning point now when the Lord asked him what he wanted. This question puzzled me because it says, "Ask what I shall give you." This question, it is deeply rooted in the love and the faith that Solomon had in God. If someone were to ask you, "What do you want me to give you?" you wouldn't readily give them an honest answer unless you truly know that that person had the power to grant your request. Solomon knew that only God could ask him such a question and give him this request because he alone is able to fulfill this request. And as I continue reading, you will see that this happened in his dream. In our dreams, our bodies are at rest. In our dreams, we're at our most vulnerable place. In our dreams, we're resting. We're not really worried about anything because we're in this deep, deep sleep. So I want you to think about that because this is where the Lord comes to him and asks him, "What is it that you would want?" And so this is his response. And Solomon replied, "You have shown great and faithful love to your servant, my father David, because he walked before you in faithfulness, righteousness, and integrity. You have continued his great and faithful love for him by giving him a son to sit on his throne as it is today. Lord my God, you have made your servant king in my father David's place. Yet I am a youth with no experience in leadership. Your servant is among your people. You have chosen a people too many to be numbered or counted. So give your servant a receptive heart to judge your people and to discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours?" Now, it pleased the Lord that Solomon had requested this. And so God gave him because he had requested this and did not ask for long life or riches for himself or death of his enemies, but just asked for discernment for himself to administer justice. I will therefore do what you have asked, and I will give you a wise and understanding heart, so that there has never been anyone like you before and never will be again. And in addition, I will give you what you did not ask for, both riches and honor, so that no king will be equal during your entire life. And so this response that God gives to Solomon, it came at this turning point in his life. God is simply asking you and me what it is that we really want in our heart. You see, God already knows exactly what we want and what we want to ask of him. So no wonder he came to him at nighttime, at that point where he was his most vulnerable. He was at this point where he wasn't trying to rationalize or really think about it. He was at rest when the Lord came to him and asked him this. He could have responded in many of other ways, but God knew what was exactly in his heart. Solomon was wise enough to be humble enough and say, God, I need your help. I need your wisdom because you have placed me in this situation where I do not know how to fully operate. In your turning point, have you ever been at a point in your life where you do not know how to operate? You don't know what your next move should be. You don't know what the next step is that you should take. You're standing there. It's not like a fork in a road, but it's a turning point. A turning point requires you to make a decision. It's because of certain things have happened, have come in your life, and now it is time to make a shift, to make a change, to go in a new direction. It's only one choice that can be made in this situation. The right choice to be made is going to require for you to be humble, for you to be transparent, and for you to be real with God. That is the point of today's message, is that if you have found yourself in a turning point in your life, if you have come to a place where you know you are at this decision that needs to be made, be honest with God. He already knows what it is that's in your heart. He says, ask of me what I shall give to you. God knew when he asked that Solomon was going to ask him for the wisdom. Solomon was brave like his father told him. In those instructions that I read earlier, David told him to be brave, to be courageous, and to remember all the things that he has done in his life, the ways that he followed the Lord, the statutes, the ordinances, all of those things that he observed. And Solomon remembered that. And he realized the only way that I can be successful, the only way that I can make it through is if I have the help of the Lord. And not just my wisdom. I need your wisdom. In our turning points, we need wisdom. And it's not like a wisdom where you can read a book and you can learn all these different things and you know the answer. This is different for us. This wisdom that we are asking the Lord for, that Solomon was asking the Lord for, was a spiritual wisdom. A wisdom that would open up his eyes to see so that he can govern the people properly, so that he can see beyond his feelings, so that he can see beyond what's in front of him in the physical. He needed to be able to govern in the spirit. And so God, he's saying, you're at this turning point right now. And I've come to you and I'm asking you to ask me for this wisdom so that I can help you to see beyond so that you can be successful in what it is, because you don't know what lies ahead. I know what lies ahead. But if you would just be humble and say, I need your wisdom. And see, the thing about Solomon is that even though he asked for this wisdom, God knew he was going to receive the wisdom that he was going to give to him. He was going to follow whatever it is that God was going to have him to do by the Spirit. So this turning point is about your spiritual condition today. Are you ready to allow yourself to truly follow the wisdom spiritually that the Lord wants to have for you, and whatever this decision is that you are trying to make? That is the Winning Wednesday word. If today's word has encouraged you today, would you consider sharing the Winning Wednesday podcast with someone today? Thank y'all for listening, and I'll see y'all in the next one.